So, it's been a while, I guess. I'm going to do the top 10 games I played in 2016. Granted, that means the game does not have to come out in 2017 in order to make this list. In fact, all it has to do is I've had to play it for the first time ever this year, or a majority of the game, to get enough understanding and appreciation for said game. Because there were some cases where I played a game at the tail end of last year that I didn't really get a full handle of until 2017. And I'm sure Origins will be just like that. Because I have not played Assassin's Creed Origins yet. I'm waiting for the 3 GB patch to download before I start playing. But would you get on that? It's only 3 gigs. Hey, it's step up, step down. It's a good step down, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna go through my top 10 games that I played for the first time this year, the games I enjoyed the most playing this year, and do a little update thing at the very end, because I've been going through quite some issues as of recently. I mean, as you can see, I got a haircut. It's Christmas. Actually, yeah, it's Christmas. I was about to say it's Christmas Eve. You know, it's actually Christmas. But let's just start with number 10. Okay, well, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. 0.2 Fragmentary Passage. The reason why this is number 10 is because while I enjoyed the living hell out of it and getting to know Aqua's backstory and the Realm of Darkness more, or her story in the Realm of Darkness, not really backstory, was amazing, but the game in itself was basically just a giant demo for Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah, giant. Most demos are usually close to 2.5 hours. So yeah, while it was great, it was fun to play as Aqua. Combat was slick, the graphics were amazing. I quite enjoyed it. But yeah, it was basically just a demo for Kingdom Hearts 3 to set it up even more so. So that's why I decided I really couldn't justify putting it any higher. And off the top of my head, there aren't really any other games that I could put at 10 instead of it. I mean, I enjoyed Somo, don't get me wrong. But Fragmentary Passage, Kingdom Hearts, and it's got that Kingdom Hearts name attached to it. And along with that, nostalgia for me. So anyway, let's move on to number 9, which is WWE 2K18. And again, I can't really put this any higher, because I just love to mess around with WWE 2K18, whether it be creating superstars, downloading superstars, and making their movesets, their entrances, etc., etc. It can get tedious and boring if you do it in a giant slog like I do. But I really enjoy the payoff in the end, because once you get it, you get a sizable creating custom superstars, be it from fandoms, your own imagination, cool things you see on creation. And then you just go into universe mode and you just have a ton of fun. That's honestly where I get most of my enjoyment from 2K games, or just WWE games in general. I've never really gotten, I mean, since they introduced universe mode, that is. Universe mode has been my cup of tea, I guess you could say. It's been what I look forward to every year. Just making my rosters, the pay-per-views, the stories to go along with my head. I just enjoy that stuff. Number 8 is Inside. I'm pretty sure I played Inside first time this year. Yeah, it was freaking early, but it didn't disappoint. From all the hype it got, being touted as one of the best indie games of 2016. Yeah, it didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed it. It does really remind me of 1984, George Orwell's 1984. It does give off that kind of vibe, which isn't necessarily bad. It's dreary and sad, but it's entertaining and fun to say the least. So hey, that's where I put it. And number 8 is Oxenfree. I know some of you probably rolling your eyes and frowning that I put Oxenfree above Inside. because Inside's like touted as one of the best indie games ever, alongside Little Nightmares this year. Little Nightmares is basically this year's version of Inside. And then there was Limbo, all touted as great indie games, top tier indie games. And then Oxenfree, I feel like kind of goes under the radar. Like it's up there, but it's not up there. But I just really enjoy it. And what really sets Oxenfree over Inside for me is characters. Like the character and the story being told is honestly what makes me enjoy Oxenfree just a little bit more than Inside. Because I love Alex and her interactions with all of her friends, her new brother, her new stepbrother Jonas, Ren, Nona, is Clarice, yeah, the Resident Evil Oosh. I don't know. But I really enjoy her interactions with everybody. And I just love the characters. I love the setting and the story. While it can get crazy, kind of confusing at times, it's really great, and I just love it. Number 7's Outlast. Yeah, it's the first year I've ever played Outlast. I technically own Outlast 2 too, but I haven't played it yet. I did play Outlast and Whistleblower. Obviously, it's on my channel for all to see, and I just find it funny, spoiler alert, that the whistleblower who blowed to the journalist, well, the journalist doesn't make it out alive, but the whistleblower ends up making it out alive in that person's vehicle. I just thought that was kind of ironic. Really funny. Like, it sucks to be him. Not to mention, I thought the notes in Whistleblower were much better than the actual main game. Like, the guy in the main game, when he made his notes, I don't know, they just weren't too entertaining. But then in the Whistleblower, that guy, his notes are vastly entertaining just because he's got stuff at stake. He's got a family to go home to. And he's all worried about whether or not he's going to make it back to his family, about wanting his family to not see his dead body, whatever it may end up as. I just love how in his notes he goes from dreadful, fearing the worst, to having hope. I just really like that part. And it kind of backtracks the original game in a shorter fashion. It's a really good boss fight, very, very creepy, and gruesome boss fight. And I forget his name. It's the brides, dude. It's the groomsmen. It's the groom dude. I forget his name for some odd reason, but horror isn't really like my big cup of tea. That'd be like action adventure RPG. But to be my big cup of tea as far as my favorite genre goes. But there are horror games in which that really do take interest and hold in me, and Outlast is one of them. And which is why I'm excited to play Outlast 2 whenever I get the chance to do that. And we'll get to another series later. Actually, really, really soon. Up next is Pokemon Sun. Yeah, I didn't really play Pokemon Sun until this year. I mean, I also got it for Christmas last year. So I didn't really have time to play enough of it to get a grasp of it, to get a feel of how I felt for it in that short time I had it in 2016. And then I put it down for a really long time, like I do with most Pokemon games, to be honest with you. And then I pick it up and I get enamored, and then I just can't put it down. I don't understand myself. I think it's just I gotta reset my mind from the early grind. But it is what it is. I really enjoyed my team. Not gonna lie, used the legendary just because it felt important story-wise. And I somehow beat Blue, even after I made it all the way through that stuff. And they don't really give you a chance to heal, and half my team was knocked out already. You run into Red and Blue, and you don't have a choice but to fight them. One of them. So you know what? With my team being in the condition it was, there was no way I was gonna face Red, who was in a lot higher levels. So I chose Blue, and I just barely beat him. I think I had one Pokemon alive, and I had to constantly revive a couple of them. Nebby being one, I think. Yeah. Nebby, Garnet, which was my Salazar. I don't really know how to pronounce Pokemon's name. Oh, and I forget the other one. There's 3 of them I just kept reviving. Those 3 were it, just because of his team. We're gonna move on to number 4 now, and like I said, it wouldn't be too long before we got back to that horror part. That's Resident Evil 7. It came out all the way back in January. Now this is an actual 2017 game, okay? There are several 2017 games on here. Fragmentary Passage, 2K18, you know, Inside Oxenfree and Outlast and Sun were all 2016 and under. Resident Evil 7 did come out this year though. And honestly, it's a mixed bag as far as its perception. I mean, it's very positively reviewed. Don't get me wrong, it's just from within the community itself, it's mixed. Because a lot of people just bash it because they don't like the first person. Even though the series was meant to be first person from the beginning, they just didn't have the technology yet. Not only that, everybody was like, oh, it's just Outlast clone with creepy Outlast mixed with fear. Because the creepy little girl. Spoiler alert. That comparison, they're both kind of false. I mean, yeah, sure, Outlast is in first person, but you can't defend yourself at all. The whole point of Outlast is you run from your enemies to survive. That's literally the whole point. You're defenseless the whole entire time while recording everything. The only similarities between the two is first person. As far as the fear thing goes, I never played Fear. But as far as your little creepy girl thing goes, you do realize, spoiler alert, for the entire game, the entire main timeline of the game in the 2017 July, it takes place in July of 2017. For the entirety of that timeline that this game takes place in, that little girl is not a little girl. She is literally the old lady in the wheelchair that you see throughout the whole entire game. She's not a little girl. Your mind manifestation, when you get hallucinations, she appears as a little girl. Sure. But that's because she's infected you with her spores and her E-virus. Oh, guess what? Virus. That's very Resident Evil. Not to mention her boss fight. She becomes like this giant BOW. If that isn't Resident Evil, then I don't know what it is. Okay, because Resident Evil is like a mixed bag of over-the-top enemies. Sometimes over-the-top action. Horror. For the most part. And I guess you could say campy stories. Like the story's very campy. Like I think Resident Evil 7 probably has the most serious undertone to it when it comes to the story than any other Resident Evil game's ever had. It actually has weight to it. I'm just saying. It's a really good game. I enjoyed it. You know, started the year off with it, and I ended the year off with it with Not a Hero and End of Zoe, which I can say I'm not disappointed about it. They're both roughly 2 hours long. So, one's free and the other's $14.99, or you can buy the season pass. Yeah. Number 3 is Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, I remember going into this year, I'm really hyped for Horizon Zero Dawn. And I remember my brother-in-law was like on the fence about it. I don't know why. I forget what it was, but there was another game. Oh yeah, it was For Honor. He was more hyped for Honor than he was for Horizon Zero Dawn. He was in the For Honor camp. I was in the Horizon Zero Dawn camp around February. And he was more hyped for Honor. And I was more hyped for Horizon. And then he got Horizon Zero Dawn, and he just went insane. He went crazy. He loved it. Him and my sister both. And it's easy to see why. I like the game. It's really good. The combat is amazing. There's a lot of variety, more than I thought there was going to be. The story was a mixed mash of sci-fi? Medieval sci-fi, I guess you could say. Kind of prehistoric sci-fi. Yeah, let's go with that. Prehistoric sci-fi. I really enjoyed the characters that actually had like relevance to the plot. And it was just a really good game, and honestly you couldn't ask for a bigger game to star a female lead. And now, speaking of Horizon Zero Dawn, that makes me extremely hyped for the new Tomb Raider game that's possibly coming out soon. Okay, number 2. This one's gonna freak a lot of people out. That's number 2. It's Breath of the Wild. Okay, so when the Switch came out in March, I didn't get it. I waited a very long time. I waited till like a week before my Halloween party. So I've only had my Switch since October, which is why you won't see Splatoon or Mario or any other Switch game, because the only 2 I have is Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart. Ooh. And, well, yeah, it's true. I never played Mario Kart 8 until this year, or Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Edition on the Switch until this year. I have played Mario Kart 8 before because my cousin owned a Wii U. And we would play it every once in a while. But yeah, so I didn't get the game until then. And I'm pretty far. I've pretty much done almost everything you can possibly do in that game. That doesn't include beating Ganon or the DLC. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's all the combat, major test of strength shrines that I absolutely hate with a burning passion. I just hate the strength test shrines in general. If there were, I don't know, say like 5 minor strength of tests, 3 medium strength of tests, and then 1 major test of strength that was like a legit boss fight, then maybe I'd be more inclined to do them. But the fact that there's over 10 major tests of strength shrines blows my mind and makes me not want to do them because they're the worst thing in the game, just in general. Alright, number 1. Again, another reason I'm probably going to flip that I put Breath of the Wild at number 2, even though I enjoyed the living hell out of it, and Legend of Zelda is my favorite gaming my favorite gaming franchise in general. The whole reason I bought the Switch was for Breath of the Wild. And then I plan on getting Splatoon, Mario Odyssey, eventually Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Those games on the Switch eventually plan to. But number 1 is Final Fantasy 15. I know, it's probably caused a lot of uproar. Final Fantasy 15 brought Final Fantasy back into the limelight, like the big limelight. Because 13 happened, there was 3 of those, and everybody was like, alright, yeah, oh, wait a minute. And then they just completely turned 180 on that game series and just started bashing it to all loving hell. I don't know. I quite enjoyed 13. Never played 13 too. Only played a little bit of Lightning Returns. But I enjoyed 13 because guess what, guys? Linearity isn't necessarily a bad thing, considering most Final Fantasies are consistently linear. Like, I recently replayed Final Fantasy IX this year. I hate to break it to you, that may seem open, But once the world really opens to you, there's not really much to do except for continue the main story. I mean, there's some things you can do, but for the most part, half of that game's pretty damn linear. Like, pretty damn linear. Same thing with 7. Like, they give you these wide open, dull 3D plane areas. It's not that open. It's a bland place where you run into freaking chocobo forests and towns. Like, literally. And then people bashed Chapter 13, which I thought was a nice, refreshing change of pace. Like, the game starts you off, and you're extremely open. Like, Final Fantasy 15 is extremely open from the very beginning, and then it just gets even more open, and even more open. Because there's like 3 sections to the main overworld, pretty much. So there's that. And then they warn you when it's gonna get linear. Which I didn't mind, because you get a lot of story in Chapter 13. Like, as soon as you leave on that cruise to Altissia, by the way, once you leave to go to Altissia, the game gets very, very linear from that point on. You get a lot of story, and that's what everybody wants in a Final Fantasy game, and then they just start bashing it because it's not open. What the hell? I don't know. Linear sections are good, they're fine. I mean, hell, look at Uncharted. They give you a good open amount of space, but right down to it, the games are all very linear. Just about. And I think Tomb Raider is 2? Rise of the Tomb Raider isn't. Rise of the Tomb Raider is probably one of the more open action-adventure games I've played, like Horizon. Although Horizon's almost a hybrid action-adventure RPG kind of thing. But yeah, I love the Final Fantasy 15 games. All the episodes that come out this year. Gladio is lackluster as hell. I didn't really care for it. Then again, I've never really cared for Gladio all that too much. Comparatively, I mean, I like him. I like his character. I just don't like him as much as I like Ignis and Prompto. And then episode Prompto came out. It blew me away. That was amazing as hell. My favorite DLC out of the 3. And then Ignis came out. And it's like literally just maybe that much behind Prompto to me. I just enjoyed Prompto's more. But yeah, those are my top 10 games that I played this year. And now I'm just going to go through a brief little short update on what's been happening to me. So on November 20th at 6 a.m. I hadn't gone to sleep yet because I couldn't shut my mind off. I went to go to bed. I rolled on my side and I got a fuzzy feeling in my chest. Not my chest, my shoulder, right here, my upper shoulder. Left shoulder. And it spread. It's kind of slowly spread, but not very slowly. I mean, it's like 30 seconds to a minute at best. Spread to my center of my chest. And I got very uncomfortable. I tried laying down on my back, my other side, and everything I did was just uncomfortable. And at this point, I was low-key panicking. I just wanted to go to sleep. And then after maybe like 5 minutes, I started panicking more because my whole left arm was getting fuzzy. My jaw, of all things, was getting fuzzy. I got fuzzy feeling. And I started panicking more. I panicked a lot, actually. I haven't panicked like this since my lung semi-collapsed 2 years ago. Almost 2.5 years ago, actually. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew was that my chest on this side was in severe discomfort pain. I was whimpering. I couldn't really speak other than the words I did say when I was in my room trying to cope with what was going on to me, trying to understand what was going on to me, trying to realize what was going on to me. All I could say was no, 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 this can't be happening. I just want to sleep. That's all I was saying. That's all I really could say. That's all I wanted to say. And I remember at one point, I did lay down. I had to slow my breathing down a lot, quite a bit, to try and control my panic. I'm pretty sure I did that like 4 times. One of the times I just lay down on my back and I felt like I was about to pass out, and I realized I couldn't do that. One, I'm in unknown pain and I don't know why. So I walked upstairs to my parents' room. My mom woke up as soon as I went up the stairs, and I just sat on the bed and I just pointed to my chest. She already knew what was going on. And I didn't really want to say anything. I really couldn't say anything. I was too busy being in pain and whimpering. None of this was fun. None of this was exciting. It was all painful and uncomfortable. And even on the way to the car, she had me put on my jacket, and I couldn't really do it on my own. I couldn't put my left arm in there of my own will. I didn't have the strength. I got my right arm in there pretty okay, but when it came to my left arm, I couldn't muster up the strength to lift it up and force it through there. My mom had to put my left arm through the sleeve because I physically couldn't. And then when we did get in the car, she sped to the emergency room in each and every turn. Hurt like a freaking... It hurt like hell. It hurt a lot. Whew. And then when we finally did get to the ER, they laid me down. I'm still uncomfortable as hell. Honestly, I don't actually fart. I don't actually start to feel comfortable until my mom starts, I don't know, messing with my hair, I guess you could say. And that's when I started to calm down more. They took x-rays, they took my blood twice. They took an EKG, they gave me an ultrasound. And they didn't really have any terms for it then, because they didn't know exactly what was going on. They just said that there was something was inflamed or whatever, and I had to take inflammation pills, and that I had excess fluid around my heart. Not a lot, but I had some. And so for the first couple days, for the first 3 days, all I did was sleep and eat, because my medicine, which was like 800 milligrams, and it was strengthened ibuprofen, caused drowsiness, and it just literally made me want to sleep all the time, and I had to eat with it. So yeah, so all I did was eat and sleep. My mom would wake me up, she'd bring me food, I'd eat it, and I'd fall back asleep. Granted, I couldn't really, for the first couple days, walking was a no-no. I could walk, don't get me wrong, I could walk. It just caused me severe pain in my chest and my jaw. It felt like I was walking on pins and needles. It was extremely terrifying. I didn't want to get up. I didn't want to do anything because everything I did caused me severe pain. Just even shifting in my bed, shifting my body position in my bed caused me a lot of pain. For that whole week, I was basically in my room when I didn't have to be. No, I was basically in my room when I wasn't out being forced to do something else. Like that Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, I actually worked from 5:30 to 11, I believe is what it was. And I realized very shortly that I'm not going to be able to do this whole entire shift. I'm not 100%. By this time, I was being able to walk more comfortably and all that stuff, but my chest still hurt. I felt really sick. My voice was hoarse and not really what it sounds like most of the time. It was just bad. My boss understood. He knew just by looking at me that I wasn't doing well. And I had to shortly explain things very quickly to the manager so I could leave, obviously. And then almost immediately afterwards, we went to my sister's for Thanksgiving, and that was all fine and dandy. It was also hell for me physically, because all I did was want to sleep. As soon as we got home, I fell asleep. Like, I blacked out, basically, because I hadn't been asleep for a really long time, and my medicine makes me so tired. And then around Sunday morning, the strength and ibuprofen starts to take a toll on my stomach. I get this immense pain in the very center of my chest, or very top of my stomach, basically. Like right where I'm rubbing. Probably can't see it. Basically, like right here, I get this intense pain, and I'm back to not being able to walk because this pain is intense. Is almost as intense as my chest pain, to where it hurts to shift even, and that's not fun. And we find out that, like I said, it was the strength of ibuprofen. It was messing with my stomach because it's so strong. Like I said, it's 800 milligrams, and I had to take it 3 times a day, every 7 hours. 3 a.m. I think it was 3 a.m., 11 a.m., and 7 p.m. I had to take it. So I'm taking this 800 milligrams strengthened ibuprofen 3 times a day with food, and it starts to affect my stomach to an immense degree. And all this time, I'm not working. Obviously, I've been given a slip by the doctors to get off work. It wasn't a very fun time, obviously. I'm still not over it. Like, the last time I went to the doctors, he could still hear friction between my heart sac and my heart. He said it sounded like sponges instead of sandpaper like it did last time he did it, because I eventually did go to my doctor's, and he did tell me that my heart sac had inflamed and was causing my heart to rub against it. He saw higher elevated blood in my system from when he took my blood that day. And so he had me go to the not the emergency room, but to a technician to give me more in-depth ultrasound to check for the excess fluid. And she said there's basically a moat on that screen is excess fluid. Hopefully it doesn't come to this, but if my body can't absorb the excess fluid as fast as it comes in, then I'm gonna have to go through minor surgery to have it drained. No, I don't want that. It's not gonna be fun. So yeah, I mean, I got back to work. I was only allowed 4-hour shifts. I couldn't lift anything more than 15 pounds, which is weird and a little tedious for me because I work in produce, and a lot of the things in produce are heavier than 15 pounds. Like potatoes and onions. I couldn't lift that. I couldn't lift that to save my life. Banana boxes, celery, iceberg lettuce, cauliflower. There's a lot of stuff in produce that weighs over 15 pounds. So all I basically did was run salads. I would run salads and like maybe fill tomatoes here and there, or pull the black thing down and lift the bananas out of the box without having to lift it on this little slide out holder we place it on. You know, it just it's a very rough time. I'm still not over it. If I lift something too heavy, my chest still gets aggravated, like from whether it be here. Sometimes I'll feel pain here. it's insane that this just happened out of the blue and we'll never know what caused it. Doc said we'll never know what caused it, basically. Said it was viral, and that's good, because if this came about because of lupus, that'd be bad. Still on inflammation medicine. I have to take it every 12 hours, so 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. I have to take it with food, and I'm taking this other medicine to help my stomach handle the medicine, the inflammation medicine. It's just a crazy, painful experience that I wish I never have to go through. That I wish nobody ever has to go through. Although they did say it was very weird that this happened to me. I don't think they were talking about the heart sac swelling, but more so the excess fluid. Because the technician said they don't usually see this in people my age. They said it's not uncommon, but it's usually older men, and not somebody as young as me. So I mean, there's that. Hopefully I get over this soon. 'Cause I'm just kind of sick and tired of this. I wake up and I feel achy from my back mostly, but my legs, I'll get that sick achy feeling. Today I passed out basically in that chair over there, on the couch, because I got lightheaded, like a subtle lightheaded, like that subtle lightheaded sickness you get, not like the stand up rush. And I basically just passed out because it was making me so tired. Like, it was hard for me to keep my eyes open. My head just didn't want to stay still. It was more like, it felt lightheaded. Felt light. Unlike right now, my head doesn't feel lightheaded. So there's that, I guess, again. But, you know, pain isn't as intense, obviously. It's very tame compared to what it was, which is good. It's going away, which is nice. But I still do feel pain. I tried picking up a banana box last Wednesday. Yeah, last Wednesday. And it aggravated my chest. So that wasn't good. Decided not to do that ever again. It only doesn't aggravate my chest when it's down to 1 layer of bananas instead of the 2 layers of bananas. So I learned my lesson. That wasn't good. Other than that, I really haven't been lifting too much stuff. I've been trying to avoid that. Lifting up stuff I feel comfortable with. Cutting fruit, freshness check. Like salads. Oh. See, pain. Not fun. Like burping, hiccuping, all that stuff. It does not feel good with this thing I've got going on in my chest. But on the good news, neither of my lungs are bad. They're both doing good, and everything to do with my heart work is great. All my heart blood work came back good. When they did the ultra scan, the technician said, "Your heart looks really good." It's just, these are my words, not hers now. It's just that my heart is fine. It's just everything around my heart decided to be a little asshole and just start messing up. So there's that. By the way, I think that's where I'm going to end this off. I don't really know how to continue anymore without going into even greater detail of my time when the first week or even the second week. Watched a lot of animated Spider-Man from Disney XD, so there's that. Either way, I hope you all have a great day. This was my top 10 video games of 2017, but What games did you play that you enjoyed the most in 2017? If you like the video, give a like, comment, feel that'd be super special, awesome. Subscribe if you haven't, that really helped me out, and ta-ta.